What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing some key takeaways in relation to the Chicago Bulls and Denver Nuggets game. Obviously, our first game was against the Pelicans and we lost that game, and we took some takeaways from that as well. Today we're going to be talking about the Bulls and the Nuggets. Obviously, again, very interesting game, a lot better of a game from a Bulls perspective, and we'll also be discussing the key takeaways we can take from that game as well. Some of the positives that we saw, as well as some of the negatives that we saw as well, and just general questions and answers that we actually got from that game. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Bulls and Denver Nuggets game. What did you really think about the Bulls' performance? What was surprising to you? What was not so surprising to you? What was what was the emotions that you were feeling? Both positive and negative. It's all okay to share. And we'll get started on it straight away. And I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I really was happy about, some things I was also a little bit worried about as well. The first thing I want to talk about is the performance of Dalen Terry once again. Now, I want to get this positive out and done straight away because this player has come into this preseason with a good work ethic and a good approach, and he has a very good attitude. And although he didn't get the game time that he probably did in the first game, I'm not sure exact minutes that he played from the Pelicans game to the Denver Nuggets game, it's clear to me that anytime this player gets any sort of minutes, he's there to make an impact, whether it's offensively or defensively. In the short time that he actually got in today's game, he got a stat in almost every single category except for blocks, I believe, which is an incredible sight to see. 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. Very, very, very good stat line in the limited minutes that he got. And not to mention how great his first game was. In my opinion, he's impressed in 2 games in a row now. And I absolutely love that from Dalen Terry. And again, he's got to make the Bulls coaches believers. I said it in the last key takeaways video, and I'll say it in this one as well. I think it's absolutely essential for Dalen Terry. Very similar to what Ayo Dosunmu did last season. He's got to make the Bulls coaches believers. He's going to make them trust in very tough situations that he can come in, make that impact, make the difference. And then eventually, we could very well see him at some points in the starting lineup. That's how much I think Dalen Terry can make an impact on this team. But time will tell. But it's a good start from Dalen Terry. You're not going to see perfect games from him all the time. Again, I think he's had a couple turnovers here and there from his performances. They've not been perfect, but you don't expect perfect from a rookie. You expect hard work. You expect the right attitude. You expect a good approach. And Dalen Terry has accomplished that in a nutshell and then some. So I'm very, very happy with Dalen Terry's performance, both with the Denver Nuggets game and the New Orleans Pelicans game. You saw a couple of guys not get a lot of minutes or no minutes in this game whatsoever that I thought you would probably see get a little bit of minutes. So Marco actually played in the last game against Denver. I don't think he did necessarily well. I obviously felt like, again, it's garbage time minutes. I think Marco needs to do in my opinion, Marco needs to kind of change his approach to how he sees the garbage time minutes. It did feel like a little bit of why am I really playing type of situation. But these are the opportunities that Marco needs to take advantage of. And also, I feel like he needs to demand the ball a little bit more. The ball was not given to him, in my opinion, once in a really good position for him to actually do something with the ball. And I think Marco, again, it's limited game time. It wasn't a lot. So there's not really too much to really say in this instance. A guy like Marco, in my opinion, needs to be demanding the ball from the center position because he has the skill set, in my opinion, to be a very good scorer coming off of the bench. But I'm happy he got the game time nonetheless. Again, I feel like everybody deserves equal opportunities. But moving to the point where I was making before, there are a couple of guys that didn't actually get minutes that I thought would. For example, Malcolm Hill didn't get any minutes in this game. Now, Malcolm Hill actually played so well in the last game against the Pelicans, and I was very stunned to see that he didn't actually get any minutes here. But I guess we're kind of understanding what Billy Donovan and the Bulls coaching staff is taking the approach of heading into the next couple of games. Some players that got minutes in these games will not get minutes in the next game. Another guy that didn't get any minutes was Kostas Antetokounmpo. So I expect Malcolm Hill and Kostas Antetokounmpo to get small amounts of game time heading into the next game against the Toronto Raptors, just so everybody gets that fair chance that I think everybody deserves. You want to have everybody play at least once or twice in this preseason. So they decided to go with Marco. They went with Carlick Jones as well. They went with Javon Freeman Liberty, who played very well as well. And those were the opportunities that those guys probably needed in the preseason. Some of those guys might not get a lot of game time next game. Some of them might get even more. We'll have to wait and see. But fair and equal opportunity seems like the way the Bulls are going to go down. And yeah, overall, there were some guys I was very surprised that didn't play, but I guess when you really look at the grand scheme of things, you can understand why maybe for one game they didn't play. We'll see what happens against the Pelicans game, against the Raptors game, sorry. We'll find out if this is just the rotation that the Bulls are going to go down, and that's maybe their garbage time lineup, or if they're just going to try and get equal minutes for everybody in that fourth quarter, just get the young guys playing, different young guys at different times and things like that. Very, very important to see. We saw a change in the starting lineup as well that I thought was extremely interesting. Javon Greene actually started ahead of Patrick Williams in this game. Now, I think Billy Donovan said prior to this actually occurring, he kind of tried to downplay it, saying that it was just to try and see what people could do in different positions and things like that. He said that Javon Greene brought a little bit more energy to the starting lineup, which he thought he needed, which is absolutely correct. Again, the Pelicans game, we lack so much energy, and Javon Greene is an energy bunny. He always has been, so I can understand putting him in the lineup for that reason. And Patrick Williams ended up coming off of the bench, and he had a better game off the bench compared to when he was starting. And Javon Greene played pretty much the exact same way that he played in the first game from starting, coming in the starting lineup than he did when he was on the bench against the Pelicans. One thing I can say about Javon Greene is that I've said this a lot with Javon Greene. It doesn't matter where he plays. It doesn't matter if he starts or comes off the bench. You're going to get the exact same Javon Greene every single time. You're going to get the energizer. You're going to get someone that's going to work hard. You're going to get someone that's going to do all these great things. And yes, the addition of him scoring the ball is a huge bonus, and one that I hope will carry over. And that's another thing to take away. If Javon Greene can score, can make those three-point shots at a high level, this team will become dangerous. Just like any other team that makes those corner shots, that's going to be a very good weapon for the Chicago Bulls, because you know how good we can be from the corners. If we make them, we're a dangerous team. We know that. And let's hope that can continue. But you get the same thing from Javon Greene every single time. In my opinion, Javon Greene is more of that finished article than what Patrick Williams is. Now, Patrick Williams, in my opinion, has a lot of potential, and I think he can get to that potential, but it's going to take a lot of time. It's not going to be an easy ride for Patrick Williams. He's only played, I think in terms of actual regular season games, he's only played 88 regular season games. That's pretty much a season and a little bit of games. And that's not an easy sight for Patrick Williams. It's going to take time to develop him. It's going to take time to see where he's at. And obviously, but towards the end of this season, hopefully with a healthier season, we will see a very much improved Patrick Williams. But I hope, as I said in the game reaction, and as I say now, I hope Patrick Williams takes a lot from that third quarter performance. Because in my opinion, that is the level that Patrick Williams can play at every single night. But he has to do it consistently every single night as well. And he has to do it, again, probably more often than what he actually does to really get anywhere, because he has the skill set. There's not many guys on this team that's dribbling into his mid-range shot and making it. Maybe DeMar DeRozan. Eventually you see guys like Kobe White can do it, Zach LaVine can do it, but not many other guys can really do it at a high level. You got someone that can be in the corner and still shoot a three-point shot effectively. You've got someone that can move off from a screen and go into a mid-range shot as well. He has the skill set offensively. I really believe that. But it's about finding that consistency every single night. Finding when your number is called every single night and delivering when it is. And that's what Patrick Williams, again, maybe on the bench will get more opportunities to do that. Me personally, I don't think it matters if Patrick Williams starts or comes off the bench. That's not really what I'm going to be worried about whatsoever. It's about the improvements he makes from his first season till now. That's the only thing I'm really worried about with Patrick Williams. If he could deliver a better season, then there's still faith that he can even go beyond that. It's about improving yourself, not necessarily staying where you are. And if he's kind of stagnated from his first rookie season till now, then that's when people will get worried about Patrick Williams. So maybe the bench role will be good for him. Maybe he doesn't even start on the bench next game. But all things considered, I do like the idea of him just, when he's in that mode of scoring, I really think he's a much more dangerous player than just being passive and waiting in the corner. So again, I'm happy with Patrick Williams' third quarter performance, and I'd like to see that continue. Now let's talk about the starting lineup a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, before we end this video. I thought the starting lineup, and even the bench, of course, the bench was fantastic as well. Bench was arguably probably the best part of the game, to be honest, against the Denver Nuggets. But our starting lineup also delivered on what it was supposed to do. Now, outside of Zach LaVine, who I thought, again, besides the 6 assists, was a very, very standard Zach LaVine, an average Zach LaVine. And we know Zach LaVine is a 20-plus point per game scorer when he's at his best and firing on all cylinders. He's still not at that mode just yet. I'm wondering when we're going to see Zach LaVine in that mode and whether or not we will see Zach LaVine in that mode coming into the regular season. But outside of that, I thought our starting lineup played very, very well. I thought Io fit the starting lineup very well. I thought DeMar DeRozan did what DeMar DeRozan always does. That's find a way to score. That's beat opponents one-on-one. That's be crafty and get to the layup, get his layups, get to the foul line and things like that. DeMar DeRozan did that fantastically well. And Vucevic had another great performance in this game. Now, that's really positive to see, and you saw a lot less turnovers because of it. You saw a lot of good stuff from that game against the Denver Nuggets from our starting lineup. And I also think you're starting to see what the new guys bring to the table. You start to see what Goran Dragic brought in this game. He brought his mid-range shooting. He brought fairly decent decision-making. I don't think he's that athletic Goran Dragic that we probably saw maybe 10 years ago. The guy can get blocked. The guy does not necessarily jump that high anymore, but he's a good mid-range shooter, and in my opinion, he's only going to improve his decision-making going forward. And with Andre Drummond, as I mentioned in the game reaction, that guy is so valuable to this team. Now, again, he's not a rim protector. I don't know if he'll ever be a rim protector, but hell, he's had some really good blocks so far. So let's see what happens in the future. Maybe he can be a rim protector that we truly desire on this team. But the guy is simply so hard to box out. Now, to be fair to the Denver Nuggets, they didn't have Nikola Jokic in this game. Nikola Jokic is obviously a very good difference maker. That guy can average between 10 to 15 rebounds on occasion every single night. That's how good Nikola Jokic can be. DeAndre Jordan ended up starting for the Denver Nuggets. And to be fair, he's usually going to be that bench option. There's no way he's starting over Nikola Jokic, is he? And maybe if they had both of those guys, Andre Drummond wouldn't have been as effective as he was. But in my opinion, on that bench unit, Andre Drummond comes in. You have 3-4 players trying to box out Andre Drummond. 3-4 players trying to get the rebound over one guy. And although Andre Drummond doesn't get the rebounds, as I said before, he's going to be the guy that forces people to box out, and there's not going to be any transition plays going forward for the Denver Nuggets. How many times did you see Denver Nuggets really run out on the fast break and get easy opportunities when Andre Drummond was on the floor? And I encourage you to keep watching this, because although they did have injuries to their center position, there are a lot of teams that are going to be playing small ball in the future. Teams like Miami might play small ball. Teams like the Warriors like to play small ball. There are a bunch of teams in Celtics as well. Even though they have Al Horford at the power forward position, they like to play a little bit smaller as well. A lot of teams will go small ball this season. Some will play big ball, and that's when maybe you have to switch the rotation to I guess, accustom that. But when teams play small ball and you put Andre Drummond on the court, you're going to have 3-4 people boxing out, and then the whole point of small ball is to play faster. And I don't think a lot of teams are going to be able to do that with Andre Drummond just trying to crash the boards every single time. I think it's going to be a very good addition to this team. I really do. I think already he's been proven to be better than Tristan Thompson. But of course, over a course of a whole season, we'll truly know the value that Andre Drummond brings. And so far, I've absolutely loved what I've seen. He's not been averaging a double-double. He's not scored a lot. He's not even got the rebounds that you probably expect him to get. I think that will come in due time. But he's done a lot, in my opinion, just by his presence alone on that team and on that court with the bench unit. So his presence alone has made the difference, in my opinion. And I can't wait to see how, I guess, important he'll be in the regular season. I think he's going to give Vucevic a lot less stress. It's not all going to be on Vucevic's shoulders at the center position. We weren't crying out for a backup center now. We were crying for one back last season, and Vucevic had a lot of weight on his shoulders. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think you're going to see Vucevic play a lot better and a lot more freely, because Andre Drummond is also on the bench, is going to be helping him out, and he's going to get his rest. He's going to get as much rest as he possibly needs before he can come back on, because you've got a capable center really there, ready to make a difference. So I'm happy overall with Andre Drummond, and I'm happy overall with this Bulls performance. And all I could do is wait and see for the next one. But those are my key takeaways for the Chicago Bulls in the Denver Nuggets game. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Of course, I missed a couple of guys. I missed Kobe White's performance. I didn't really talk about that. But Kobe White's performance, I think we all know what Kobe White can do. So I didn't really need to go too much in depth in that. When Kobe White is firing on all cylinders, that's a Kobe White performance you're going to see. Where Kobe White is not necessarily, I guess, making his shots, you're going to see disappointment in Kobe White because he's a scorer. If he scores, great. If he doesn't score, disappointing. It is what it is with Kobe White. But yeah, I'm probably missed a bunch of other guys, but I really did enjoy the Chicago Bulls performance against Denver. And now it's on to the Toronto Raptors. Now, I have got a chance to look at Toronto Raptors preseason games. They went 1-2. I think their last game they lost to the Houston Rockets. They have an extra game in preseason compared to us. So when we verse them, that will be their 4th preseason game, and it will be our 3rd. So they do have an extra game on us. We'll see how that plays out. Hopefully it won't be a big issue because, again, we did win this game against Denver, and maybe confidence is what we truly need. That randomness of the offense I'd like to see continue as well, and just time will tell whether or not it can and how long it can be sustainable to do that, and how long it will take to actually perfect what we're trying to do on the offensive end, because I do see a lot of differences compared to last year. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.